Hey everybody, it's your girl Blue. No, you guys haven't seen me in a minute. I've been dealing with school, kids, wifely duties, you know the drill, and trying to get my ass in shape. I'm sorry for this tacky ass fucking shirt that I'm wearing, but it's fucking hot as hell outside, man. It's a trip. And I need to stay cool, for the love of God. I need to stay cool because of this weather. But I figured that I do a lovely little video for you all since I have been going through so much. I just recently lost a friend of mine that I've known since middle school to cancer. So I've just been in a daze, just really just in shock, not really grasping the concept that she's actually gone. She fought really, really hard, for cancer. So, she's a winner in my book, regardless. But God bless her and her soul, and my condolences to her family. I know them, and and I know they know me. So, I'm there for them either way it go. And then I have a relative that's missing, out in Cincinnati. So it just, everything just kind of hit me all at once, and I just needed to just get myself together. But I'm back. I'm good to go. And I just thought, you know what? I need to make a video because I know a bunch of people were wondering, where the hell is this chick? She's forever and a day just magically disappearing, and every now and then we'll see her do a video and whatever. If you guys are friends with me on Facebook, you saw that I've done like a couple of Facebook live videos and whatnot. Just I'm either crying about something or I'm just upset about things, and I just had to let go of my emotions, and I rather just do that than sit over here and just bawl out in fucking tears. But hey, that's a different story. I'm gonna have to do a episode of Share My World and pretty much go into other matters of the heart when it comes to that. But today I am going to be doing a movie review. And before I even start this, I want to sincerely apologize to all of you for putting you through this utter torment of the movie that I am finna talk about. And of course, the movie that I am talking about is Titanic 2. Yes, people, they actually did a Titanic 2. And mind you, none of the people from the original movie is in any way, shape, or form in this one. Oh, yes. It sucked. Really bad, people. It sucked. Now, mind you, I was not going to watch that film. No, I was not. I told myself time and time again, I'm not going to watch it. You know why? Because I'm pretty sure that it sucks. But one day I was flipping through the channels like we normally do. And of course, it just happened to be on. Out of all movies in the history of movies, why was this particular one on at this inappropriate time in my life? Don't know, don't care, and I'm not even going to try to figure it out now because what's done is done. So I wound up breaking my own damn promise, and I watched the movie. And let me tell you something. I was pissed off. I was mad. I was just like, what kind of asinine bullshit of a movie is this? Titanic 2. I'm speechless right now. I'm just mind boggled at this. That someone actually woke up one morning and said, you know what? I'm just going to go ahead and make a Titanic 2. Why not? Why not rebuild this fucking disaster ass ship that took 1,500 damn lives with it? Like, come on. As much as I don't want to do this to you, I got to do it the right way because I've seen numerous of people who have done movie reviews that done sequels, to these movies. They had to give you the cliff notes to the first that led up to the second. If you all are not familiar with the RMS Titanic, and I don't see how you can't be even bothered by knowing about this damn thing, it's part of history, and my school damn well made sure that I knew about this shit. I didn't understand why, but of course, they're the teacher, I'm the student, I got no choice but to listen to them, so whatever their critique was, their itinerary was, I had no choice but to fall through it. But anywho, the RMS Titanic sunk, of course, on April the 10th of 1912. And it was sailing from New England to New York, if I'm not mistaken here. And unfortunately, it struck an iceberg and it sank. Yes, I'm just going to give you that brief little moment, whatever, because that's pretty much all it was. Captain Smith was of course, was the captain. Bruce Ismay was the owner of, you know, White Star Line and the ship in itself, whatever. Titanic also had two sister ships, which was the Olympic and Britannic. Britannic got hit by a missile, I believe the Germans, if I'm not mistaken. It could have been Nazis, whatever. I don't quote me on that, people. Just look it up. But I know it got struck by a missile, and yes, unfortunately, it sunk. And I believe the Olympic was scrapped in the 30s. So yeah, really did not have really good luck with them two sister ships. So of course, Bruce Ismay thought that the Titanic was going to be the mother lode, the icon, the fast one, the best out of them all, whatever. And apparently, it didn't go down that way because you clearly saw the end results. There was actually a documentary called Titanic Secrets Revealed where they revealed some things that we did not know even existed. But I'll do another video on that one for you later, and I'm not going to bore you, with those facts. You just need to know that, hey, once upon a time, long ago, April the 10th, 1912, Titanic sank. There you go. There's your cliff note. So, onward to Titanic 2. Which was a 2010 low-budget disaster film. Yes, and I believe it. It was definitely one hell of a fucking disaster of a movie. It was just terrible. It was horrible. It was just wrong. I think I had probably nightmares for approximately 5 days after watching this movie because it sucked that bad. That's how much of a disaster it was. And of course, I really was curious who the hell directed this fucking movie, written the movie, if anything. It was written, directed, and starring Shane Van Dyke. Yes, Shane Van Dyke. Shane Van Dyke is the grandson of Dick Van Dyke. Jeez, dude, Dick Van Dyke had a career. What the fuck? You're the grandson. Why you didn't go to Grandpa and ask him to help you out, man? What the fuck was you thinking when you did this shit? But anyway. So, the story begins a part that there's a glacier that has fallen off a big old block of ice or whatever in the Greenland. So I'm like, okay, I'm pretty sure this is somewhat relevant to what the hell we're going to, get here. So let's just go ahead and fast forward to the day in question. It is April 10th, 2012, 100 years after the first Titanic sank. We have Hayden Welsh, played by Shane Van Dyke, who, may I remind you, is just full of himself. He is a celebrity of whatever. I really didn't care what the fuck he was famous for. But he is the owner and, of the White Star Line, whatever. He's the one that had the Titanic 2 built. Well, he christened it. Bad idea. Bad idea for you to even fabber to do something like that. You want to build a ship, be my guest. But it didn't have to be the Titanic 2. Did you have to make it the Titanic 2? Obviously so, because that's what he did. Okay. Now, he's not the only one who is up on the hype of this ship. Everyone within a fucking block mile radius from this ship is just amped up that the ship even exists. And I'm sitting here, mind you, I'm watching the movie. And I'm like, you people are extremely excited about getting on this ship, knowing that this is a replica of the first Titanic, but they just slapped the number 2 on it. But you got everybody taking pictures, drinking champagne, walking around the ship, got the little smiles on their faces. Hoop-de-hoo, hello, we're finna go, bye-bye. For the love of God, people, like, come on, man. I wish the hell you call me up on the phone saying, hey, guess what? We're going on a cruise. Oh, what's the cruise name? Titanic 2. Go to hell. I'm staying home. And speaking of that, I got a nice little surprise for you at the end of this video, and that's all I'm going to say on that one. So, Hayden apparently has an ex-girlfriend, Amy Main, played by, what's her name? Marie Westbrook. Yes, Marie Westbrook. Apparently, the two of them broke up. Da 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 da. Whatever. She's working on the ship. I guess she does the whole, CPR, first aid. The infirmary. There you go. Whatever you want to call it. And not really thrilled about the ship, but hey, it's a job. Got to pay your bills. Whatever. Apparently, her father, Captain James, played by Bruce Davison. Sorry, I have my notepad here because I want to get the names right. And I believe you all know Bruce Davison. If you don't know, I can give you a movie that he played in. X-Men. He's the guy that got turned into the Glupa by Magneto. There you go. Now you know who he is. But apparently he's the guy that has been informed that there is a glacier that has fallen and it's caused a tsunami or whatever, and it's heading toward, in the direction that the Titanic is pretty much heading toward, whatever. So he teams up with a girl named Kelly, played by, what's her name? Michelle Galvin. If I said her last name wrong, I apologize. But the two of them team up to pretty much study to whether or not when is this damn fucking glacier supposed to be heading in this direction of the Titanic or whatever. And apparently it's pretty bad because, they're sitting over here, panicking and talking about some, it's like a ticking time bomb. It's like the glacier is like the size of Manhattan. I've never been to Manhattan, so I can't even say. But when this scene where these two are looking at the Ice Age, the Greenland, whatever the fuck you want to call it, they have the worst Photoshop. They really do. It's like they were filming. It's like you got the background, the green screen, whatever, and then you got the background supposed to be. It's terrible. It's so obvious. It does not look realistic. I will give props to the first Titanic movie. With Leonardo DiCaprio and Kate Wilson in it. I'll give them props. At least they made it look real. I didn't see nothing of indication of Photoshop. It looked spectacular. The effects, everything, the graphics, it was dead on. This one was just pure fucking laziness. I swear, Dick Van Dyke is freaking just flipping out. He's losing his mind right now. My grandson did this. Why? You could have brought me aboard. I could have made something of this movie. And you know what, Dick? I believe you. You have a career. So, again, mind you, the Titanic 2 set sails. And remember, the first Titanic was going from England to New York. This one is reversed, from New York to England. It sails out the same day that the first Titanic went out. It's going the same route as the first Titanic did. So you're probably thinking, no, you don't even have to think. Is it going to suffer the same fate as the first Titanic? If you say yes, step up and claim your damn prize. You are a fucking genius and keep on living your genius life. Because that's exactly what the hell happens. So, Amy's father, James, he's calling her saying, hey, babe, I'm not too for certain of you being on this boat or whatever. And, she's saying, Dad, we talked about this. You said this was a good thing and da-da-da-da. Now the father's like, well, I'm not so certain because, there's some crap finna go down or whatever. And, you're going to get caught in the crossfire. I think you should just reconsider. Reconsider? When you and your daughter had this talk, and mind you, they did not show this. This was just something that was just thrown in there, whatever. We don't see like a flashback of, James and Amy having a conversation about her actually working on the fucking boat. This was just something that was just thrown in. You and I talked about this. If you talk to your daughter about this, you knew this was the Titanic 2. You know that her ex-boyfriend is responsible for this ship even being in any existence. The first thing you should have told your daughter was, oh no, hail to the mother. No. Nope. I didn't hear him mention a wife. Come to think of it, there was no wife. It was just the father and the daughter. That's it. No mention of the mother. So I'm just going to take the inkling that they're neither divorced or she passed on. But if my child told me that I'm going to go work on the replica of Titanic 2, I'm going to be like, oh, hell to the no, the hell you not. I'd rather you go motherfucker work in the Navy in one of the stations or something, but I don't know damn shit. Fuck that shit. My husband was in the Navy. He had to be on the ship for 6 months. Trust me, I've had my fair share of paranoia. But anyhow, so they set sail, Then you have Captain Will, played by D.C. Douglas. And of course, the men are sitting here like, okay, let's make history. Oh, you go make history. Yeah, you're gonna make some motherfucking history. I wouldn't be surprised if you guys just sank right next to the fucking Titanic. First Titanic gonna be like, oh, hello, Titanic 2. Yeah, you thought you can beat me. You thought you were gonna outdo what happened to me. No. You sit right next to me. Kick up a seat. That's what I would believe. So, of course, they set sail and everything seemed like it's going smoothly. But then all of a sudden alerts, come about and they, the Coast Guard, which, Captain James here works with, informs them, okay, you all need to turn your asses around and you need to go in another direction because there's a fucking tsunami coming along with a piece of a fucking glacier that ironically looks like a fucking iceberg that the first Titanic wound up hitting 100 years ago. People, come on now. You know where I'm getting at this. You know where I'm getting at. Of course, they're not listening. Hayden is sitting over here talking about, so we have state of the art. Well, it will indicate us where there is any type of iceberg or anything else for that matter. I don't give a shit. You are all the way out in the middle of the motherfucking Atlantic Ocean. You are in no way, shape, or form above in the sky in a fucking helicopter like my man is here. So, of course, he will probably know a lot more better than you ever will know. But, of course, as always, he doesn't listen. But they do tell people to please head down to the lower decks and get into the doggone fucking, evacuation plan, whatever, the little light boats, whatever. The only difference with this one is that they actually had more lifeboats than the first Titanic. If you guys don't know, the Titanic originally had 64 lifeboats, but they took them down and deducted it to 16. Then they had some disagreements, and then they put 4 collapsibles back aboard. So altogether, it was 20 lifeboats altogether. But apparently in Titanic 2, they had more lifeboats than the first one. Whatever. And they also, did I get to mention Titanic has little submarines for their little evacuation plan? Did I forget to mention, even though they had those lifeboats, too little too late because nobody got in them lifeboats. In the submarines, yes, but not the lifeboats. And did I forget to mention that people still died on this ship? Oh, but here's the big kicker. So here comes the glacier coming toward the Titanic. And everybody's just sitting there. Just staring. Just looking. Oh my God, it's gonna hit! Boom. It's not the Titanic hits the iceberg. It's more so the iceberg hit the Titanic. If this were not a truer statement coming from motherfucking Captain Will Howard. Looks like history is repeating itself. No. You think? Really? Is it really repeating itself? Did someone just take the motherfucking remote control and just press rewind? Oh, the same thing happened to Titanic 1. Okay, fast forward. Titanic 2. Oh, wow, damn. I would have never put 2 and 2 together. I really was just in awe with this movie when I was watching it. And mind you, I'm talking about the time when I first saw this movie. Okay, this was the first time I've seen this movie. So I'm remembering everything that happened the day that I watched this movie because I just couldn't. I just couldn't. It was laughable to me. It's not funny people died. Let me just put that out there. It's not funny that people died. It was horrible. But the reason I was laughing, because I am trying to understand, why did Shane Van Dyke wake up one morning and say, you know what, I'm just going to go ahead and do a Titanic 2. The budget for this movie was $500,000. Honey, with that terrible Photoshop, $500,000 should have been a lot more productively spent on making this movie a little bit more pleasant, a little bit more realistic like the first one. I mean, damn. And spoiler alert, the ex-boyfriend dies. And of course, the ex-girlfriend sitting over here weeping and whining about the guy being dead, when clearly the two of you couldn't really stand each other as far as you could throw one another when this whole thing was going down in flames. No, I'm serious. The Titanic it did caught fire and it did kind of go down in flames. Really, it did. Sorry. But in the end, I seriously do not recommend you even watching this movie. It is a waste of breath. It is a waste of time. Let me put it to you like this. And I can't believe I'm finna say this. Oh my goodness. And I know y'all gonna use this against me later on down the line. I'd rather watch the first Titanic with Leonardo DiCaprio and Kate Winslet. I'd rather watch that movie than this one. Because at least in the first movie, it was based on a true story. They just threw the Leonardo DiCaprio and Kate love thing in there to make it stand out more. And it worked. It did. But at least they had the actual people that was on the ship, like Molly Brown. She was on there. Captain Smith, Bruce Ismay, John Jacob Astor, Benjamin Guggenheim. Those were realistic people, that were that was on this boat. Unfortunately, Captain Smith, John Jacob Astor, and Benjamin Guggenheim, they went down with the ship. Ismay got off, sneaky bastard. And Molly Brown, of course, she got on the lifeboat, whatever, and she turned tragedy into triumph and came out with the play The Unsinkable Molly Brown. So, yeah. And like I said, in the documentary Titanic Secrets Revealed, there were also two other survivors that they had interviewed. Was it Edith Heisman and Ava Hart, or Eva Hart? One of the two. I'm sorry, ma'am, if I got your name wrong. But they did interviews with them, as well as some other, historians who, jumped on this and was educating us about what the F. They even went as far as testing the theory. Like, maybe if Captain Smith did this, maybe the ship would have stayed up a little longer for the Carpathian to come and rescue them. But as we all know, the Carpathian did not make it in time to save the people on the ship, unfortunately. So that kind of sucks. But guys, when I was a kid and I was taught this, I became fascinated, in the Titanic. So I took it upon myself to educate myself much as possible, about it, because it was something that, got my got my attention, whatever. And when the Titanic Secrets Revealed documentary came out, I was really intrigued because there was so much that I didn't know that had occurred, with the Titanic. Like, there was another ship that was out there at the time when the Titanic sank. What was it? The Californian. But they turned their engines off because they was in an ice field. Smart. Apparently they saw flares from the Titanic being fired. I don't know if the reason they didn't do anything because they didn't understand the flares or what was going on, or maybe they thought it was fireworks and it was a party and they was just like, okay, whatever. But everybody on the, Californian had went to sleep, whatever, because they cut the engines off because they were surrounded by ice and they wasn't going to continue on with their voyage in an ice field because that would have been bad for their ship, of course. But, of course, in the morning, it was all clear and he went on ahead and brought his ship home safely, Captain Lord. So, I was just like, what the fuck? Like, are you serious? Them motherfuckers was out there the whole damn time? Like, damn. Couldn't lift a fucking hand to help a motherfucker, couldn't you? Okay, that's nice. I was pretty much told that, Bruce Ismay was just money hungry and power hungry. And, he told, Captain Smith to speed up the damn boat because he wanted the Titanic to make a better record than the Olympic, her sister ship, did. Unfortunately, we clearly see that didn't happen because it fucking struck an iceberg and it fucking sank to the bottom of the Atlantic Ocean. You know the drill. But anywho, people, that is the fucking Titanic 2 story. And let me throw this at you. The tagline to this pathetic excuse of a movie. 100 years later, Lightning strikes twice. Do I really need to say anything regarding that fucking tagline to this doggone movie? Do I really need to say anything? 100